like many of you, I started dipping my toes into the waters of yoga before social media existed. And it seems like, well, it was a different century, but it seems like, you know, a whole different time before social media and after. And I think that as yogis, we can thank social media for doing a lot of great things for yoga, for helping to make it more popular, for making yoga more democratic, which I think is a good thing. And making it more accessible for many of us. On the flip side of that, I don't feel like I'm on social media all that much, but when I look at yoga social media, it has started to feel more and more aspirational to me. So what I'm talking about is photographs of really aspirational poses and videos of really aspirational flows and people in aspirational places wearing their aspirational yoga outfit, doing their aspirational pose. So it's fun to look at these pictures and these videos. But I think the important thing to remember is that yoga is about transformation, not aspiration. To me, aspiration is something that is passive. We look out at something else or someone else doing something, and we passively think or say, I aspire to that. But to create real transformation, we have to do something. And that's an internal work. That's an inside job that we do on our yoga mats and off our yoga mats. So there is a formula that you use to get to transformation, and that is intention plus effort plus time equals transformation. And you need all three of those. I think they're called add-ins in math. The intention, the effort, and the time to get to transformation. So we can't just, you know, do a few crunches and say, my abs are good, I never have to do that again. We have to keep strengthening the muscles that we want to advance. So in our practice today, we will focus on the transformation that yoga can bring to our lives by creating an intention, by putting in the effort. And I'm preaching to the choir because you're here today, you're putting in the time, including Jasper. He doesn't always show up, but when he does, I think he's really into it. Okay, so find your seat and close your eyes. This is where you set your intention for the practice. To me, a yoga practice without intention is just exercise, and exercise is good and it's fun and it does great things for us. But the intention is one of those three add-ins that makes the practice transformational. So set your own personal intention for our practice today. It could be a big, lofty intention, or it can be something really smaller and tangible, something that's doable today. But you decide and get clear on that intention. And then bring your hands together in front of your heart in Anjali Mudra. And with that intention clearly in your mind, make a commitment to put in the effort on your mat today and in your life off the mat today, to not just go through the poses or go through the motions, but to really be present in each pose, in each moment. And finally, set your commitment to the time. If you truly want transformation, commit to putting in the time it's going to take to get there, and not giving up after one pose or two poses, after one or two tries at a pose that perhaps has been eluding you, or not giving up after 1, 2, or 10 attempts at something off your mat that you're aiming for. As you exhale, bow your head towards your heart, the place that holds your intention, your effort, your time, your transformation. And then release your hands down. And as you inhale, sit up a little taller, roll your shoulders back, let your heart open, let that intention spread to every cell of your being, and then open your eyes. All right, friends, if you want to play music, now's the time to get started on that. In 3, 2, 1, tap play, and we'll go for it. We are going to get on hands and knees on our mats. Be intentional about how you place your knees right under your hips and how you place your wrists right underneath your shoulders. Be intentional about how you press your finger pads into the mat. And now be intentional with your breath as you move. On your next exhale, take cat pose. Really feel what's happening in your back body as you let all the breath out. And on your inhale, take cow pose and really feel that front body as you come into cow. Again, exhale, cat. And inhale, cow. Third round will be our final round here. Inhale into cow, and then come into neutral spine and start walking your hands back until you're standing on your knees. We're going to be on one or both knees for a little bit, so if you want to turn your mat over to create more of a cushion or put a cushion under your knees, go ahead and do that. We'll start with our hands on our hips. Take your right leg out to the right. Right toes pointing straight ahead, and then take your arms out to a T. We're going to tilt over to the left, so the left fingers are going to come to the ground or to a block, but let's be intentional in how we do that. Instead of just flopping over here, take a breath in and use the whole length of your exhale to reach out. This will help turn on your obliques a little bit. And then we land left fingers down onto the mat. Bring your right arm right over your ear, and then we'll take 3 circles backwards. So as you exhale, reach your arm back, circle it down by your hip, and as you inhale, bring it forward and over your face. 2 more, circling around, using your breath to guide that movement, really making that connection. On this 3rd circle back, when your hand gets to your hip, leave it there, and then pick up your right foot. Bend your right knee, reach back with your hand. You might need a strap here. Hug your heel in towards your hip. Just a little quad stretch here. And also working on the balance a little bit. If you get a little bit sturdier, pull a little bit more muscle energy into your core, you might find that you'll get a little lighter onto your left hand. So maybe not lifting it up, but getting a little lighter there. And then release your right foot, stretch it out, foot down to the mat. We'll take the right arm straight up overhead, and then again, use your obliques, your side waist muscles here to inhale, lift yourself up, and we'll take gate pose to the other side. So right hand, rest lightly on the right leg, and reach your left arm over your ear. And then inhale back up, hands to your hips. We'll bring that right knee down to the mat and take the second side. So take the left leg out to the side, left toes pointing ahead. Arms out to the sides, take a breath in, and then slowly descend down at the rate of your exhale, gently landing your right fingers onto the floor, and then bring that left arm right over your ear, bicep near your ear. I said 3 circles back on the other side. It's really 2.5. Exhale, take your arm back behind you. And as you inhale, bring it forward and over your face. One more full circle around. And then the third time you take your arm back, bring it to your hip and leave it there. And then lift your left leg up, bend your left knee, reach back with your left hand or your strap, grab onto your foot and hug your heel in towards your hip. Maybe try to pull that left shoulder back a little bit. Get a little tighter into the core and see if you can get a little lighter onto the right hand, maybe coming onto a fingertip or two. And then release. All your fingertips down, or all your right fingertips on the floor. Stretch your left leg out, left foot down, left arm straight up overhead. And then inhale, lift yourself up here. Hands to your hips, bring your knee down. So we'll take, I'm gonna call this a mini camel here, M-I-N-I, little camel pose. So tuck your toes under, bring your hands behind your back. Work on hugging the belly in and up, draw your shoulders back. This might be plenty of camel pose for you at this point in the practice. If you want a little bit more, think about sliding your hands down and lifting your chest up and keeping the core really strong to protect your low back here. And then release, hands down to the floor. We'll take one more round of cat on the exhale and cow on your inhale. And then downward facing dog. Once you find your downward dog, general shape, begin to shift around a little bit. So this is still early in the practice, and I don't need to tell you, this is a morning practice, which feels different from an afternoon practice. So just shift around a little bit in your legs, in your hips, maybe in your shoulders and your back to get more comfortable in this multivitamin pose, downward facing dog. And now that you've gotten a little more comfortable here, come into stillness in your downward dog. Take a deep inhale through your nose. Let it all out through your mouth. Seal your lips. Inhale, come into plank pose. On your exhale, lower down, Chaturanga. On your inhale, tops of the feet on the floor, lift into Cobra. And then exhale, lower back down to your mat. Widen your hands out, so fingertips on the mat again, lifting the palms up. Point your elbows towards the ceiling, lift into just a mini Cobra, and then roll your shoulders alternately. So one starts, and then the other begins. Trying to loosen up the muscles around the upper back, the shoulders. And then pull both shoulders back, still with your hands where they are. Lift up into a little bit of a bigger Cobra here, so graduating from the mini Cobra. And then exhale, lower down, Sphinx pose. Bring your elbows underneath your shoulders, forearms parallel to one another. See if you can pull the tops of your shoulders away from your ears. And then lower your chin towards your chest. And move your head around a little bit here. Just opening up your neck. So the back of your neck and maybe into the sides. As you move your head around, you might find a spot where you want to linger a little bit longer because you're a little tighter or knottier in that place. So give it a little bit of time. And then bring your head back up. So just right where you are, in the direction your head is pointing, roll over onto your back. Bend your knees, soles of the feet on the mat. We're going to do a little bit of core work, which will continue throughout the practice. Keep your left foot on the ground, cross your right leg over so there's not a space between your legs. I want you to think about this as eagle legs. We're going to do eagle on our backs. So we've got the right leg crossed over the left. We're going to take our arms up into the air and cross the right arm under the left arm for that eagle wrap. Palms pressing into one another, or if that's not working, backs of the hands pressing towards one another. Draw your belly down towards your spine and then lift your left foot off the ground. Knees are about over the hips. Take a breath in here as you exhale. Knees and elbows come together. Try to lift your shoulder blades off the mat. Inhale, lower down. Again, exhale, lift, pull in. Inhale, down. Exhale, lift. Inhale, down. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. One more time, like this. Pull in and then lower down. This time when you exhale, pull in and think about tapping your knees and elbows together. Lower down and tap, tap, fingers and toes to the ground. Exhale, lift, tap, tap. Exhale, lower, tap, tap. Exhale, lift, tap, tap. Lower, tap, tap. One more time here, lift and tap twice and lower and tap twice, and then release all of that binding. That was one side. We've got the second side to do. So this time, right foot will stay on the ground and left leg will cross over. Bring your arms up and we'll take the left arm under the right arm and then bring your palms together or backs of the hands together. So draw your belly down, lift your right foot off the ground, knees about over the hips. Take a breath in as you exhale, knees and elbows together. Inhale, lower back down. Exhale, as you pull up, try to clear the shoulder blades off the mat. Inhale, back down. Exhale, in. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. Now we'll do the double taps. Exhale, tap, tap. Inhale, fingers and toes tap twice on the ground. Exhale, pull in twice. Inhale, tap down twice. Exhale. Inhale. Two more, double taps. One more time, tap in, tap down, and then release. Stretch your legs out long, stretch your arms overhead, interlace your fingers, turn your palms away from your head, stretch your body out, grow it a little bit longer. And then unlace your fingers, roll over onto your belly. Bring your hands in place for Chaturanga. Lift the fronts of your shoulders away from the mat. Tuck your toes under. Get your legs strong. Get your upper back strong, belly strong. Take just a mini breath out to lift into Chaturanga. And then full breath out, plank. And then back to downward facing dog. Take a breath in through your nose, release through your mouth. Bring your feet to the top of your mat and fold over your legs here. Be intentional about how you place your feet and each toe pad on the mat. And then inhale, rise up, take your arms up overhead, touch your fingertips together. And as you exhale, bring your hands to your heart. And take a moment here to remember your intention. This is your own personal intention that you set for this practice. Infuse it into these next several breaths as we flow through Surya Namaskar A. Inhale, lift your arms to the sky. Exhale, float down to the earth. Bow in deeply. Inhale, lengthen out halfway. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, plank. On your exhale, lower. And on your inhale, cobra or upward dog, the back bend that you choose. Exhale, downward facing dog. On your inhale, lift your right leg back and up, bend your knee and twist open. Inhale, stretch the leg back, square your hips. And then as slow as you can, plant your right foot at the front of your mat. So use your core to pull the knee in and then plant the foot down. From here, we'll come up to warrior one. Spin your back heel to the mat and inhale, rise up. Shoulders and hips squaring to the direction you're facing. See if you can open your chest a little bit here. If you need to, come into cactus arms or have the arms up, whatever feels better on your shoulders. We're trying to get a little open across the front body, opening the heart where that intention is. On your exhale, hands to your heart, twist to the right, bring your left arm across. If you're having trouble keeping that back heel on the ground, maybe bring your back foot in a little bit. If you're having any knee or back issues with your back heel on the floor, lift the back heel up. On your next inhale, lift back up to warrior one. And on your exhale, circle both arms back behind you, slowly lowering down. Interlace the fingers behind. Keep the chest open. Exhale, humble warrior. Fold in. Go deep here, or as deep as your body says you should go. Opening the shoulders, opening the outer hips, stretching across the back, being stable in the legs. As you inhale, release your hands down either side of the front leg, and then straighten that front leg. On your exhale, fold into it just a little bit more. Pyramid pose. And then bend back into your front knee. We're going to plant that left hand about an inch or so in front of the left shoulder. So not right under it, about an inch forward. And then turn all your toes around to the left. To the right. Reach your right hand back behind you and lower your outer left hip down towards the floor. Stay strong in your shoulders. Instead of sinking in here, lift up a little bit. And then as you inhale, come back around to the front of your mat, lower your back knee down, and straighten your front leg. So this is half splits. We're not going to the full splits today. This is it. If you want, you can exhale and bow over that leg. And then inhale, lift up, plant your front foot. Bring your right knee right over the right ankle, and as you inhale, take your arms up overhead. Tuck the toes under on your back foot, and then lift that back knee up. So we're in high crescent here. Turn your palms to face forward. As you exhale, bow forward over your front thigh, sweep your hands down towards the floor, and then press them up to the ceiling behind you. Lift your belly up at the same time. Inhale, lift back up, high crescent, open the heart. Exhale, fold forward, bow in, and press the palms to the sky as you lift the belly. Inhale, lift back up. One more time, exhale, bow forward, reach the palms up to the sky, and then inhale, lift back up overhead. From here, from high crescent, exhale into warrior three. Hands out in front is traditional, or you can bring your hands to your heart, maybe out to the sides or back in airplane. You decide. Half moon pose. Bring your right fingers down to the ground, left fingers to the sky, and really spread open here across your chest. If you want, bend the back knee, reach back. See if you can find your foot back there. If you do, grab it and then open up into more of a back bend, pushing the foot back behind you, drawing your left shoulder back. And then exhale, release. Stretch your leg to the back of the mat, hands down, one leg dog. Take your right leg back and up behind you. One leg vinyasa is an option here. You can put both feet down and flow. Of course, you can skip the flow. Yes, everybody's looking great. Okay, from downward dog, let's start the second side here. Inhale, left leg back and up behind you. Bend your knee and twist open. Really reach over. And then inhale, stretch your leg back, square your hips up. And then as slow as you can, using your core, bring your knee in. Yes, you got it. And then plant your foot at the top of your mat. Warrior one, spin your back heel down to the ground. And use your inhale to rise up to warrior one. We'll take a couple of breaths here just to be with that intention, letting it spread as we put in the effort, as we put in the time for transformation. Exhale, hands to your heart, twist to the left. So we're trying to keep the back heel down, but if you get pain from doing that, it's not worth it. If you have pain in the knee or your low back, lift the heel up. Otherwise, maybe try to keep it down. And then inhale, back up to warrior one. Open up to warrior one, and then circle the arms back behind you and down, interlace with the other thumb on top. And then as you exhale, fold inside the front leg, humble warrior. Let your head go, maybe even move it around a little bit to loosen your neck again. Bring your hands away from your back. Folding in. Release your hands down to either side of the front foot and then straighten the front leg. As you get that left leg straight, pull the outer left hip back a little bit and notice how that changes the stretch across the back of the leg. If you have the room for it, fold in over the leg. And then bend back into your left knee. We're going to plant the right hand about an inch in front of the right shoulder. Turn all your toes to the left. You're on the outer edge of your back foot. Reach the left hand back. See how long you can get in that right side body. See how strong you can stay in your shoulders. Inhale, circle back around towards the front of your mat. We're going to lower the back knee to the floor. The one and only time we're coming into splits is right here, straightening the front leg. And only if you have the room for it, bend the elbows and fold over your leg. Of course, you know, some of you gotta have your full splits in. If you need that, go for it. It's pretty early in the practice for me for full splits, but you do you here. And then inhale, lift back up, plant into your left foot, bring the left knee right over the ankle, and then lift your arms up overhead. So this is low crescent pose. It is a back bend. See if you can open into it a little bit more, transforming the shape of that upper back. And then with the toes tucked under on the back foot, lift the back knee up so you're in high crescent pose. And then maybe you recommit to opening across the front body here. Turn your palms to press, point forward. And as you exhale, bow over your left thigh, press the palms up to the sky, pull your belly in. Inhale, lift back up. Exhale, fold down, press the palms up. Inhale, lift up. One more time, you're going to exhale, flow down, press those palms up, and then inhale, come right back up to your high crescent. On your exhale, warrior three, balancing on your left leg, hands and arms go where it works best for you. And then half moon pose, lower your left fingers to your block or to the floor, take your right fingers to the sky, lift your right hip up. Squeeze a little bit into the core, so belly, side waist, and also the back to help you with the balance here. And then maybe half moon sugar cane, bending your right foot, reaching back with your right hand, just repeating that reaching back, figuring out where your foot is when you reach back for it. And then open up a little bit. And exhale, let it go. Step your right foot to the back of your mat. One leg dog, left leg lifts. One leg vinyasa. Or finish how you finish the first side of this flow. You got it. Walk, step, or even hop your feet up to the front of your mat. Fold over your legs here. And then inhale, rise up. Exhale, hands to your heart. Take a moment to be with that intention. Let it flow through your body. Let it flow through every breath as we enter the first side of the second flow of our practice. It starts with chair pose. Get your low in your hips and high in your heart. And then bring your hands to your heart. Twist to the right, bringing that left arm across. And then we're going to step the left foot to the back of the mat. So again, pull into your core. Lift your left heel up towards your hip, and then slowly reach the left foot towards the back of your mat, and then ball of the foot down onto the ground. Release both hands to the ground, step back to downward dog, and then take your vinyasa from here if you want it. You can always just hold your downward dog. From your downward dog, inhale, right leg back and up behind you. And then as you exhale, hug your knee into your nose, pull in, squeeze in tight, and then plant that right foot right up at the top of your mat. Warrior two, back heel spins to the ground, lift up into your warrior two, and just get set here a little bit. A warrior has a strong heart, a courageous heart, so be here with that. Reverse warrior, lean back, open up the right side body. And then inhale, lift back up, turn to face the left long side of your mat, turning all your toes towards that side. Take your hands, keep your hands on your hips. Exhale, forward bend, fold over. And then hands to the ground. We'll take 8 total side lunges here. So we'll start out bending into the right knee, and then straighten it, and then bend into the left knee. That's 2. So you've got 6 more on your own. You can go slow here, linger a little bit if you get to a part of your body that needs more attention, or you can take it faster. When you finish the 8, just fold in a little bit more. And then on an inhale, rise up to stand. Triangle pose. Turn your right toes to point forward. Open those arms out front and back. And remember when we tipped over to that gate pose when we were on our knees at the beginning of practice. Use your side waist to hold you up as you reach forward, and then right fingers come down to your block or to the ground, and roll that top shoulder open. Maybe take your gaze up past your top hand. And then as you exhale, bend into your right knee, bring your left hand to the floor. So we're going to take Vashistasana, that's side plank pose, where we stack the feet on top of each other. So instead of having your left wrist right under your shoulder, bring it about an inch forward. Turn all your toes to the right. So we've been here before. To get into the side plank stack, walk your right foot back, stack it on top of the left. Lift your chest up here, maybe a hint of a back bend, holding steady through the core. Start to lift your right foot up off the left, and then lunge your right foot to the front of your mat, airplane pose, hands back past your hips, balancing on your right leg, lifting your left leg up. Holding the balance, being steady here, and then bring your left fingers down to the ground or a block. We're going to take revolved half moon pose. So try to keep your left leg where it is. Pull your right shoulder up to the sky, maybe right hand up to the sky. This is plenty. This is a lot to do right here. If you want something else, bend your back knee, and then reach back with that right hand. See if your right hand can find your foot there. And then twist and open. Push your foot into your hand. Roll your shoulder back. And then inhale, release. Step your foot back. Step back to one leg dog. Right leg lifts to the sky. One leg vinyasa here. Bring your feet to the top of your mat. Bring the inner edges of your big toes together. Chair pose. Lower your hips down, lift your arms up. From chair, revolve chair, hands to your heart, twist to the right again. And then we'll take revolved crow pose or side crow, reaching your hands down towards the mat, and then looking forward, leaning forward, bending your elbows, taking your chest forward, pulling up into the belly, lifting one or both feet off the ground, staying nimble in the hands, finger pads pressing. You got it. That's how you do it. Bend those elbows, take your chest forward, hug your belly up. All right. However you want, make your way back up to standing Tadasana. Hands to your heart. Second side starts here with a chair pose. And then hands to the heart. Twist to the left now. Rotate around. And we're going to step back, standing onto the left foot. Hug your right heel up towards your hip, and then reach that right foot towards the back of the mat, lowering the ball of the foot down. And then release. Hands to the mat, step back to downward dog. So again, you can take a mini vinyasa here or hold your downward dog. Intention plus effort plus time equals transformation. Inhale, left leg back and up behind you. Exhale, knee to nose. Pull in, hug in tight, and then plant that left foot at the top of your mat. Come up to warrior two. Let that intention spread. Give yourself a little bit of time here to feel your strength, to feel your energy. And then reverse warrior. Open up the left side body. Inhale, come back up, turn to face the right long side of your mat in a horse stance. So turn the toes out a little bit, bend the knees, hands just above the knees. You can send the hips back a little and the shoulders forward a little bit. And we twist here 6 times total. So take a breath in as you exhale, twist to the right. Inhale, center, exhale, twist left. Inhale, back to the right, move at your breath pace. Center, exhale to the left. And then one more time, each side. Exhaling to twist, inhaling to come out of the twist. Inhale to the middle and then straighten the legs, square the feet up. This time, take your hands behind your back, interlace your fingers, shoulders back, chest broad, forward bend. Once you get into your forward bend, you can start to bring your hands away from your back. Transformation in that back body happens over time. There you go. Some of you are coming into your inversions. You're looking great. If you're upside down, slowly start to lower your feet down to the mat. And then we will inhale to lift up out of the forward bend. Turn the left toes to face the front of your mat. Open your arms out front and back. Strong side body, strong core. Reach forward and then tip forward for triangle pose. Broadening across the chest here. And then take your hands down to your mat. So we're going to take that stacking Vashistasana. On the right hand and outer edge of the right foot. So bring that right wrist about an inch in front of the right shoulder. Come onto the outer edge of your right foot and then stack the left foot on top. Left arm up into the air. Hold steady here. Build your strength over time. Start to lift your top foot up off the bottom foot and then plant the left foot at the top of the mat. Come into airplane pose. Reaching forward with the heart. Fingers or hands are back by the hips. Find your balance here. And then lower your right fingers to the mat or your block, and then twist to the left, coming into your revolved half moon pose. You got a lot to do right here. If you want a little bit more, bend your back knee, reach back with your left hand. See if you can find that foot, twisting, opening, back bending here. And then inhale, release, hands to the mat. Bring your right foot down to meet the left. Bring your big toes together. Chair pose. Lower the hips. Lift up through your heart. And then bring your hands to your heart. We're going to twist around to the left again, preparing for revolved crow pose. So find that twist first, and then reach your hands towards the floor. Bend your knees until you get your hands all the way down, staying in the twist. And then look forward, bend your elbows, and lean forward. Maybe go back and forth between your feet and your hands a couple of times, and then lean forward. See if you can lift one foot, and then maybe the other will lift off the mat. Takes a strong side waist to lift up both feet. You got it. You're looking good. That's it. And then come back up to standing mountain pose. Hands to your heart. We've got one more flow here. We're going to put a few pieces together. Be with your intention. You're putting in the effort. You're putting in the time. That's going to lead to transformation, not aspiration. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, float down. Inhale, stretch out. Take a vinyasa here, or just step back to downward dog, your choice. We're going to make our downward dog a little shorter. Bring your right foot in about an inch and turn the right toes out to the right at about a 45-degree angle. Look up between your hands. As you inhale, lift your left leg back and up behind you. And then bend your left knee, pulling your heel in towards your hip. Strong into your core, start to get lighter in your right hand. So maybe you prop up onto fingertips, doming the palm off the mat. Maybe you lift several fingertips off the floor. Maybe you lift the whole hand off the floor and reach it back. See if you can find your foot back there, right hand to left foot. Bring your chest a little bit forward. Now take your gaze forward. Push your foot into your hand. And then exhale, release. Hand down, foot down, regular downward dog. Bring your right foot up to the top of your mat. Come up to warrior two. Find your back arm. So just bring it behind your back. You don't have to get it into the hip crease. If you want to, you can. We're going to move here with this back arm bound into half moon pose. Take a breath in, use your exhale to glide forward, finding your half moon with the half bind. You can stay right here or bend your left knee, reaching your heel in towards your hip. First option is to reach your left hand back and grab your foot. Second option, exponentially harder. Lift your right hand off the mat and reach it back to grab your left foot. And once your hand grabs your foot, press open a little bit more. And then exhale and release. Step your foot back, hands down to the mat, one leg dog. Right leg back and up. Take a one leg flow here, or two leg. So the whole thing about bending that, when you have a lifted leg and you bend the knee, you reach back with a hand to grab it. Over time, putting the time in, doing that again and again, you develop that proprioception, so you know, your hand knows about where your foot is every time. All right, second side. So here, bring your left foot in about an inch and turn the toes out at about a 45-degree angle. Doesn't matter if your heel's not on the ground. Inhale, right leg back and up behind you. Take your gaze up between your hands. And then bend your right knee, hugging your heel in towards your hip. Strong into your core. Start to lift part of your left hand off the mat. If you can start to lift more fingertips off the mat, maybe the whole hand comes off the mat and you reach back, finding that foot. It may take a few tries to find it. Once you get it, take your gaze more forward, push your hand into your foot, open your shoulder, and then exhale. Release, hand down and foot down. Get your left foot to the top of your mat. Coming into lunge, and then we'll lift up to warrior two. Spin your back heel to the ground and find warrior two here. We've been here before. Repeating the poses gets us more familiar with them. Bring your back hand around behind your back, maybe just resting the back of your hand on your low back or your left hip. And then from here, we're going to keep the bind, come into half moon pose. Lean forward, step onto your left foot and your left fingers. Open up into this half bound, half moon pose. Stay here or bend your right knee, hug your heel in towards your hip. Reach back to grab your foot. It's going to be a little easier with your right hand, a lot harder with your left hand. So you decide, either way, be strong into your core. Reaching back, finding that bind, and then opening into the bind, and then release. Step back to downward dog. Make your way onto your belly. If you're done with vinyasa, you just roll on down to your belly however you get there. If you want one more vinyasa, here's your chance. We're gonna take, if you're going through the vinyasa, take your back bend, cobra or upward dog, and then release down to your belly. Bend both knees here. Get strong into your core. And then reach back with your hands or strap, grab your feet or ankles, whichever is accessible to you. Keeping the belly strong, lift up. Bow pose, pressing the soles of the feet towards the sky, lifting the crown of the head towards the sky, squeezing the shoulder blades towards one another, broadening across the chest, spreading that intention from your heart, out through your head, through your hands, through your feet, and then exhale, release down, release the legs, bring your palms to the mat and then rest your forehead on the top hand. Widen your legs out a little bit here. And then bend your knees and windshield wiper the feet back and forth. Stretch the legs back behind. And then right where you are, roll over onto your back. So we are going to eventually, after a few recovery poses, come into Shavasana. And if it just makes you feel really weird to have your head oriented in this direction, you can spin all the way around. But find your way onto your back and hug your knees into your chest. Rock over your back. Keep your right knee drawn in, stretch your left leg out long. Take your right arm out to the right and then twist. Draw that right knee across the body over to the left. And then take your gaze out past your right hand and close your eyes. Settle in for a few breaths here. The effort of the practice is gone now. So settle into the ease of the practice here. Just feeling sensation in your body. And then as you inhale, bring your right knee back up. Give it a little squeeze in. And then change sides. Stretch your right leg out, hug your left knee in. Take your left arm out to the left and twist. Draw your left knee across the body over to the right. And then once you land in your twist, take your gaze back over the left hand and then close your eyes. As you inhale, bring your knee back up and hug both knees in. Maybe rock over your back a little bit. We did some good back body and front body work today with the effort you put into your practice. And let that go now. Stretch your legs out long. Turn your palms up. It is time for Shavasana, corpse pose. If you need any finishing poses, take those. Otherwise, let yourself land on your mat. As you allow your back body to sink into the earth, notice if you feel transformed from just 1 hour of practice, just 1 hour of adding intention to effort and time. And then just rest here, letting your body recover, letting mind and body connect. Soften where you can, in your face, your throat, in your belly, across your back, out through your arms and legs. Begin to open your breath up a little bit. A longer inhale and especially a longer exhale. Begin to move your body. Just gentle movements, maybe turning your face side to side, maybe moving your fingers and your wrists, your toes and your ankles. And then stretch your arms overhead. Reach your legs out long. Feel transformation in your body, mind, and heart. And then as you exhale, roll over to your side, right side if you can, and just take a moment to honor yourself for setting the intention, for putting in the effort and putting in the time to create transformation. That is something that is active that you do, not something that is passive like aspiration. And then make your way up to a seat. Bring your hands to your heart. I hope you have a beautiful day, taking with you the formula: intention, effort, time to create transformation in your life. Let's take just a little bit of our time and a little bit of our collective energy and send it out to all of those who are in need today. Namaste. Thanks, everybody.